Hi, my name is Scott Williams. I'm a professional engineer with Structural Engineering and Inspections Incorporated, aka SEI. This video was developed to showcase SEI services as well as discuss the positions that are available in the company. SEI is involved with a wide variety of projects. For example, this is a residence in Clearwater that started out as a simple crawl-space inspection, but that quickly turned into heavy structural repairs, alterations, additions. One of the first things we had to do on this residence was update the rear wall. We put in strong walls on the sides of the doors as well as updated the headers. On top of updating the rear wall, we also had to add helical piers because there was slight differential settlement occurring on the building. This picture illustrates the pre-development landscape of a property we worked in Dade City, Florida. Our client asked us to determine cut-fill quantities and what impact that the construction had on neighboring properties. One of the worst things that we found was that the contractor excavated upwards of 22 feet of soil at the bottom right corner of the property. This caused flooding, sediment discharge, and even killed livestock and trees. This is aerial footage showing an SPT boring at a residential property. We complete these on a pretty regular basis when we're doing soil exploration, settlement investigations, sinkhole investigations, and similar things like that. This picture illustrates the damage that happened after Hurricane Michael at a property in Mexico Beach. Specifically, the curtain walls were sucked out of the building, and during our investigation we noticed that there were prior repairs, corrosion, paint, and that obviously showed that there was issues occurring during the original construction that helped contribute to this damage. This picture shows brick that was sucked off of a building due to a heavy windstorm in Tampa. We jumped on a scaffold and determined that there was not enough lateral bracing holding the brick to the wall on the inside. We had to develop repairs to put the wall back together, as well as a plan for the contractor to follow in case there was any loose areas of brick on the building. This picture illustrates a roof that collapsed in Delray Beach. This is a pretty common condition on flat roof buildings, particularly older buildings that don't have sufficient drainage. And that's exactly what happened here. Exactly what happened here is rain just collected on the building, didn't have anywhere to go, and then ultimately the roof collapsed. This picture shows a sinkhole that developed in the back of a multifamily structure. It actually swallowed a retaining wall as well as part of the yard. This is another picture of suction forces during Hurricane Michael that took out a wall in a residential building in Panama City. This is a picture of a fire that happened in a multifamily structure. Typically in fire jobs, we're asked to come in, document the damage, and develop repair drawings to get the structure back to a pre-loss condition. So this picture illustrates a project that I'm actually working on right now. One of the things I found was there was a roof leak occurring above the kitchen sink. When we went and inspected the attic, it was apparent that there was a lot of modifications made to the roof system. In particular, this was a 50s era structure that had pre-engineered roof trusses installed on top of the old roof. As part of that, you'll see there's a 5-ply girder sitting on top of a frame knee wall that then sits on the original building. This 5-ply girder didn't have any continuous blocking under it. As a result, the top plate was crushing on the framing below, as you can see in this picture. There was also very poor strapping done. You can see here in this vertical strap here, there's only one nail holding the top plate to the stud below. And that nail's not even the right size. It's a framing nail, and nails and straps have to be much bigger. There's also just poorly located in size straps for a big 5-ply girder. This particular girder held somewhere between 25 to 50% of the roof. So there's going to be a pretty substantial wind load on that girder as well. And this little strap you see in this picture, particularly installed into the end grain of the lumber, is not sufficient for this girder. On the other side of the girder, you're going to see deterioration of the lumber, crushing of the lumber, and actually cracking and splitting of the top plate. And again, we have more strapping issues in this photo. The contractor didn't even bother to put nails in the truss. And then here's just another photo showing more crushing and deterioration of this lumber. This picture shows a custom steel frame structure that has cranes that carry steel from one end of the warehouse to the other. We were tasked with evaluating how the owner could take the old crane and update it to have twice the capacity. This picture shows a Vibrastone column being installed. The probe goes into the ground, and then a tractor comes with a load of gravel to come back behind the probe, because the probe actually consolidates the soils around it through the vibration. We were tasked with doing vibration monitoring during the installation of these Vibrastone columns, as well as pre-construction surveys on the buildings nearby. We also completed post-construction surveys of the buildings so that if any damage did occur, we had a record of it. This picture shows the Weeki Wachee Springs State Park, specifically the rooftop of the underwater theater looking down into the spring. Our client asked us to value engineer the plans, design the sheet pile wall, timber piles, as well as complete vibration monitoring for the project. This picture is of a transfer station for a landfill. At a transfer station, big tractors are used to push the trash into the back of the warehouse. As a result of this, the trash can come into contact with the structural elements of the warehouse. For example, the column on the back of this particular warehouse was shifted out of the retaining wall, and we were tasked with documenting this damage as well as providing repair recommendations on how to address it. So these are just a couple of the projects that we're working on, and I just wanted to kind of showcase some of the different things we can do. And now let's get into the presentation.